The day I married Caleb, his ex-girlfriend showed up in a wedding dress. Caleb, this is the only brave thing I'll ever do. Are you coming with me or not? I looked at Caleb's panicked face and was about to sigh at how this cliché scene was actually happening to me. Then Caleb grabbed the MC's microphone and shouted, "Who the hell are you? Wrong venue, lady? If you mess up my wedding again, I'll punch your left eye into your right socket. Meet my boyfriend. Oh wait, soon-to-be husband, Caleb. People call him the mute Groom. He looks like a Maserati but talks like a beat-up minivan. When we first started dating, my best friend warned me, he's rich and handsome. Keep your guard up." A month later, she hesitated, then finally asked, "Okay, I have to ask. When he was chasing you, did he have laryngitis? Like, was he unable to talk? Because honestly, with a mouth like his, the only way he could have successfully courted anyone is if he was mute and had to use sign language." She had a point. Caleb was perfect in every way except for his mouth. I was thinking this as Caleb cooked in the kitchen, full-sleeve tattoos, wearing a pink cinnamoroll apron. He turned, saw me watching through the glass, and grinned. "Wait right there, babe. This third dish is about to be legendary. With my cooking skills, the UN would give me a medal." I smiled and nodded. Condition stable. 3 years with Caleb. Aside from his occasional sharp tongue, he'd always been wonderful to me. So, when a woman in a wedding dress appeared at the door on our wedding day, I was completely stunned. My first thought was, whose bride wandered into the wrong hall? The guests looked at the strange woman, then at me, then at Caleb. I froze, then turned to Caleb with confusion. Caleb had been grinning like an idiot. But the moment he saw the woman, his smile vanished. A flicker of panic crossed his eyes. No way. A real wedding crash? And she's here for my groom? How cliché. My mind raced through 1,000 thoughts in a flash. If I'd known this was coming, I should have gone left to the divorce hall next door. Maybe my silence made Caleb nervous. He frowned. "Don't overthink this. I haven't even—" Before he could finish, the uninvited guest spoke first. "Caleb, this is the only brave thing I'll ever do. Are you coming with me or not?" Ooh, here it comes. The classic drama line. Now let's look at the male lead's reaction. Caleb's eyes widened, his brow furrowed, his breathing quickened. He snatched the microphone from the MC. Then his voice rang through the entire wedding hall. "Who the hell are you?" "Wrong venue, lady." The woman in the wedding dress froze. Her hopeful, emotional expression shattered. "Caleb, don't you remember? You said you'd marry me once." Caleb gritted his teeth. "Don't talk nonsense. You might not care about your reputation, but I care about mine. Mess with my wedding again and I'll punch your left eye into your right socket. I don't care if you're a man or a woman." Tears welled in her eyes. "I'm Vivian." Caleb paused, then looked closer. "Oh, did you get plastic surgery? Can you get a brain transplant too? Who brought her here? If I find out, I'll twist their head into a double yolk egg." Despite the awkward tension, I couldn't help laughing. The chaos was quickly handled. Vivian was escorted out by Caleb's friends. Everyone silently agreed not to mention the incident, but from the looks on their faces, I knew I'd be on the local news tomorrow. After the wedding, I was exhausted as a dead dog. But as the bride whose groom was almost stolen, I received no comfort. Instead, my entire family was busy comforting Caleb. As my mom left, she told me, "Talk to Caleb. Tell him not to take it to heart." My mother-in-law patted my shoulder. "Sophia, be patient with him. If you won't cheer up, I'll send you the spiked club I used to beat him with as a kid." I politely declined. Not that I hadn't seen her chase my father-in-law 3 streets down with that thing. Once the guests left, Caleb sat on the sofa sulking. I poured him a glass of warm water. Still angry? He gritted his teeth. "Wait till I find out who brought that woman here. I'm going to teach them a lesson," I asked. "Who is Vivian?" He glanced at me nervously. "My high school classmate." "Just a classmate. We dated for a month." "Oh? Caleb immediately sat up straight. Really, Sophia? I swear nothing happened. And we broke up because she fell for my best friend. I was the victim. I got played. We haven't talked in ages. I don't know what got into her today. I nodded, lost in thought. Who shows up to a wedding unannounced without coordinating with the groom? That's enough for a restraining order. Caleb sighed. See? Getting the marriage certificate was too rushed. It definitely jinxed the wedding. The big, tough guy looked at me pitifully. Let's go abroad for our honeymoon and have another wedding there, okay? I took a deep breath. I couldn't refuse my 188 centimeters, 80 kilograms, soft-hearted husband. Mostly because the certificate thing was kind of my fault. We'd gotten married last year but never had time for the wedding. Caleb was still bitter about it. Whose marriage proposal is done by the bride, Sophia? I had the ring ready. I couldn't sleep for nights, planning the surprise. Then you, while eating pig's feet with grease all over your face, just said, I booked an appointment at the marriage bureau. Let's go get the certificate today. That day, holding the certificate, he looked at me, wronged, and said, You didn't even wash your hair. I thought we should both be happy on this significant day, so I suggested the divorce hall is to the left. Want to get divorced so that you can propose properly then? He got angry, refused to talk, and walked off to the parking lot without me. I stood on the curb about to cry. Living with Caleb had ruined my ability to talk sweetly. A few minutes later, he drove back, rolled down the window, and handed me a rose. Here, what kind of engagement doesn't have flowers? I took the rose, my heart soft, and laughed. Where did you get the flower? It's freezing out here, he smirked. Your man has his ways. Otherwise, how could I take care of my wife? Later, I found out he'd seen another couple with flowers, chased them down, and begged for one. Caleb is a social terrorist. The next morning, Caleb was still asleep. I got up to wash up. Last night, our wedding night, Caleb had been furious, spending hours on his phone trying to find out which traitor tried to ruin his wedding. I'd woken up at 3 a.m. to see him crouched on the sofa, typing intently. What a husband I have. After brushing my teeth, I checked my phone. There was a new WeChat friend request from late last night. A woman's silhouette as the profile picture. My sixth sense told me it was the wedding crasher. Her message, Don't you want to know what your husband said to me? I accepted. She immediately sent another message, as if waiting for me. I'm Vivian, Caleb's ex. I sent a question mark. Want to see my chat history with your husband? I was confused. Caleb had been talking to her. Even if you forced him to marry you, he still had to comfort me all night. How does it feel to be alone on your wedding night? Want to see my chat history with your husband? I was confused. Caleb had been talking to her. Even if you forced him to marry you, he still had to comfort me all night. How does it feel to be alone on your wedding night? I stared at my phone, deep in thought. My new husband was still asleep, and I had to deal with his ex. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Caleb? I yanked off his blanket. He woke up with a start, confused. What's wrong, babe? I crossed my arms and looked down at him. Your ex says you comforted her all night. Caleb blinked. His face went blank. Then he shot up. Is she crazy? Yes, I think she might be. Knowing Caleb, he wouldn't dare comfort another woman behind my back. He'd even need 3 days of mental preparation just to have a drink with his friends without me. My mother-in-law raised him well. That spiked club was no joke. I was going to order 10 of them. He ran his hand through his messy hair. Give me your phone. I handed it over. Let's confront her. Caleb scrolled through Vivian's messages. She kept sending screenshots of their chat, taunting me. Even if you have the certificate, I can still win him back. The angrier Caleb got, the darker his face became. He called her. Look, Sophia is a kind person. She doesn't want to bother with you. But me? I can't take this anymore. Do you have a mental problem? Go see a doctor. Stop harassing me and my wife. We have nothing to do with each other. Caleb, have you forgotten how you comforted me yesterday? He was panting with rage. Comforted you? Were you dreaming? You can't compare to my wife in any way. Why would I comfort you? Stop harassing us! Or I'll call your dad and ask how he raised his daughter. Vivian hung up crying. Caleb was still fuming. I smiled and shook my head. A mistress shows up and makes the husband angry. I looked through the screenshots. They showed Vivian having a sweet conversation with a man whose profile picture was Caleb's photo. Babe, look, this is your photo. He frowned, genuinely confused. I swear I never talked to her. Then he glanced at me nervously. First day of our marriage. Don't be mad. I sat on the edge of the bed, smiling. He got more nervous. Let's go shopping. Buy some bags? I leaned against his chest, shaking with laughter. He panicked. I swear I've only ever been with you. We finally got married. Don't be upset because of irrelevant people. Sophia, are you crying? I burst out laughing. He froze for a moment, then realized I was teasing him. He sighed and ruffled my hair. You love scaring me. Caleb, relieved I wasn't angry, hummed a little tune and went to cook. I sat on the sofa, looking at the screenshots. What if someone had been using Caleb's photos to catfish Vivian? Caleb said he'd handle it. He told me to let him deal with any future drama. I ordered 10 spiked clubs online. I told him if he didn't handle it well, I'd add 10 more. At noon, his business partner called him back to the office. He'd been running his own company since graduation, with support from his parents. It was doing well. He stood at the door, lingering. What's wrong? I asked. Other wives give their husbands a goodbye kiss? Why don't you? Reflect on that. I sighed, stood up, and kissed his cheek. Good now? Ah, a beauty's kiss. I'm energized. Wait for me, wife. Your man is going to make money. He left with a light step. I'm a freelancer, a blogger. While editing a video, I checked the local news. Sure enough, Caleb and I were trending. Woman crashes wedding in wedding dress. Gets screamed at by groom. Below, someone commented, local here. She's the groom's ex. We all know. Under that comment, I saw a familiar account. Sophia's husband replied, You know nothing. Caleb sure has free time. Scrolling through videos to control his own PR, I focused on my work. Caleb said he'd handle it. If he couldn't, I'd handle him. That afternoon, sunshine streamed through the windows. I texted Caleb to wait for me at the entrance so we could go grocery shopping. As I walked out, I noticed people looking at me strangely. Was it because of the news? Mrs. Wang, my downstairs neighbor, greeted me awkwardly. Sophia, is your husband home? Soon. He's at work. She nodded. You should keep an eye on him. I was confused. What do you mean? Before she could answer, a half-empty water bottle hit my back. Water splashed all over my pants. I turned to see a child grinning at me. Bad woman! Serves you right. His mother stood a few steps away. She didn't say a word, just glared at me. Control your child, I said. She sneered. We're decent people. Can't compare to a homewrecker like you. I was about to argue when Mrs. Wong pulled me back. Sophia, her husband, left her. She's pitiful. Don't get upset. What does her husband leaving her have to do with me? Just because she's miserable, everyone has to be? Caleb arrived just then, stepping in behind me. My wife's shoes cost $3,000. I bought them myself. How will you compensate for the water damage? The woman panicked. Compensate? For what? Everyone knows homewreckers deserve it. I held Caleb back. Who are you calling a homewrecker? You! You stole someone's boyfriend. Mrs. Wang sighed and showed me her phone. You're not in the owner's group chat. Someone posted chat logs with your husband yesterday. Said they'd been dating for 6 months, then he married you. I recognized Vivian's profile picture immediately. This woman is relentless. The woman sneered, speechless now. I had Mrs. Wang add me to the group and save the chat logs. Caleb's face darkened. Sophia and I have been together for 3 years, married for 1 year. We're legal. Your child did wrong. You need to pay. Don't take your pain out on innocent people. My wife is not someone you can bully. The woman flushed with shame. You're just defending your mistress. Shut up, I said coldly. I've been recording. If you keep slandering me, I'll sue you. Who are you scaring? She said, though her voice weakened. I'm sorry for what you've been through, but that doesn't excuse attacking other people. You're a mother. Set an example. Teach your child right from wrong. Don't make them carry your anger. She muttered something and dragged her child away. I thanked Mrs. Wang and went home. No mood for groceries now. Caleb followed me, trying to talk, but my expression shut him up. Only when we got inside did he whisper, I'll fix this. If I don't, you can throw me in the tub and call me a turtle. I'd deserve it. I glared at him. Tomorrow, get plastic surgery. The uglier, the better. You attract too much trouble. He nodded earnestly. Whatever you say. I'll get a mouth on my forehead and eyes on my mouth, all my fault. Don't be mad, wrinkles aren't worth it. That night, I watched as Caleb confronted Vivian in the group chat. She left. Still angry, he then called out the neighbor who'd splashed water on me. If anyone upsets my wife again, they can take it up with the dragon on my back. I felt my forehead tighten. Caleb, the only man who can make you cringe and feel touched at the same time. The dragon on your back? Your mom chased you down 3 streets with that spiked club. Remember? Who was the one who said she loved tattooed tough guys? That ink hurt like hell. And when Mom beat me, you didn't stop her at all. I laughed. He'd gotten the tattoos to impress me. I'd posted that I loved tattooed tough guys. A week later, he showed up with a full back piece. My mother-in-law beat him black and blue. He sent me a grimacing photo. So, am I cool or what? That's Caleb, a little tacky, but so gentle. With Caleb's insistence, we filed a police report. At the station, I saw Vivian again. She said, if you hadn't kept chatting with me, I wouldn't have harassed you. Caleb laughed bitterly. I told you that WeChat account wasn't mine. Did you go deaf or just couldn't understand plain English? She cried, I'm your ex. How can you treat me like this? What do you want me to do? Build a shrine for you? You slandered my wife and you expect me to be nice? Your face must have left the building before you did. The officer tried not to laugh. Sir, watch your language. I looked at Vivian, who was smoking, and smiled. Miss Vivian, both Caleb and I have told you many times that WeChat account is not his. A normal person would try to find out who's impersonating him. Not you. You already know it's fake. You just can't accept reality, and you don't want us to be happy. But your pathetic behavior won't affect our relationship. It just makes you look like a clown. Vivian opened her mouth, but no words came out. I've given your evidence to the police. We'll continue to press charges against both of you. You'll meet the person behind the fake account soon. Adults pay for their mistakes. I hope you won't regret this. I didn't speak to her again. The police quickly found the owner of the fake Caleb account. It was an old acquaintance. When I saw Jason at the station, I wasn't surprised. I'd asked Caleb to segment his WeChat contacts and post different statuses in different groups. After reading the chat logs, I'd already guessed who it was. Jason was the manager at Caleb's company and also his high school classmate. He was in the contact group and knew Vivian. It was hard not to suspect him. Caleb had always thought Jason wouldn't do such a thing after working with him so many years. My husband is too sentimental, sometimes good, sometimes not. Now, I just thought, sure, it's definitely him. But Caleb looked genuinely hurt. Of course, his way of being hurt is different. Jason, are you shameless, using my photos to catfish women? You look like an alien's abandoned offspring. How dare you pretend to be me? He got angrier. You came to my wedding. Vivian showed up and you said nothing? You're something else. You two deserve each other. A whole football field couldn't fit your giant faces. Jason looked guilty. Caleb, I'm sorry. I was obsessed. I've always liked Vivian since school. I couldn't help it. Seeing Caleb hesitate, I spoke. Jason, you had Vivian's WeChat. Why didn't you tell her the truth? Why didn't you stop her from coming to the wedding? Don't say you didn't know. I'm not your dear Caleb brother. You can fool him, but not me. Caleb frowned. Babe, that sounded kind of weird. I gave him a cold look. He immediately changed his tune. You're right. Answer her, Jason. Jason gave a sheepish smile. Sophia. I stood up. Explain it to Vivian yourself. I demand that she restore my reputation and apologize publicly. Caleb and I went home late. Jason and Vivian each apologized in the owners group. Vivian also posted an apology video on her story. That night, Caleb rested his head on my arm, looking sad. I never thought Jason would do this. When the company's projects failed and everyone ran, he stayed and rebuilt with me. We were like brothers. Who does this to their brother? I didn't answer. My instincts told me this wasn't over. The next day, Jason came to apologize. Caleb gave him 2 black eyes. Jason didn't fight back. Caleb, I'm really sorry. Caleb said coldly. You can do whatever to me, but you can't involve your sister-in-law. For old time's sake, take 3 months off. I'll reassign your work. Don't come to my house again. Jason looked up, shocked. Caleb. Caleb turned away. Jason looked at me. Sophia, I've known Caleb for years. I deserve to die for offending you, but don't make him do this. Jason, shut up. Caleb snapped. Don't put words in Sophia's mouth. If you were my brother, you'd respect my wife. When you let Vivian crash our wedding and spread rumors about Sophia, did you think of me as your brother? Sophia doesn't need to forgive you. You answered to me. I'm her husband. The best I can do is keep you out of her sight, not force her to forgive you for my sake. I had to admit, when Caleb isn't being an idiot, he's pretty cool. Jason was silent for a while, then apologized and left. How was I today, babe? I smiled. Not bad, he grinned. Then tonight I'm in charge. That's your big ambition? Let me show you what ambition really looks like. After Vivian and Jason were dealt with, we finally went on our honeymoon. To make up for the ruined wedding, we had a small beach ceremony abroad. Caleb planned meticulously. He even hired 3 bodyguards. What if someone crashes again? I have trauma. I raised an eyebrow. I'm already your wife. Does the wedding matter? He adjusted my veil. Of course. My wife's wedding has to be perfect. This time it's just us and the pastor. The domestic wedding was for our ancestors. Now abroad, God will hear it too. Everyone, past and present, will know we're a couple. I laughed. Blue sea, blue sky, sunshine. My love was putting on my veil. It was perfect. The small wedding went smoothly. Caleb was visibly happy. We traveled abroad, both getting tanned, then went home. My mother-in-law picked us up at the airport. In the car, she asked Caleb, I heard you made Jason take leave? He nodded. Did he come to you? No, just a warning. If you're not using him, don't let him near the company. If you lose because of a soft heart, don't tell people I'm your mother. I'd be ashamed. I guess that's why Caleb became the mute groom. Family education. I grinned beside him. My mother-in-law smiled at me in the rearview mirror. Sophia, don't worry. If my son goes bankrupt, I'll support you. I'm more reliable than him. Thanks, Mom. Caleb snorted. So your husband isn't real, but your mother-in-law is? Don't break up our mother-daughter relationship. Caleb didn't respond to his mom in the car, but he listened. That night, after unpacking, he played with his phone for a while, then said, suddenly, Jason and Vivian are together. What? They're a match made in heaven. Vivian agreed. Last time, we didn't press charges for Jason's sake. Now, they're together. If they behave, fine. If they bother you again, I'll show them who's boss. I asked, will you let Jason back after his leave? He sighed. It doesn't matter. His projects are already under others. We'll see when he returns. So, it's a yes. Caleb is loud and brash, but soft-hearted. We both knew Jason might betray him again, but Caleb still wanted to trust him one more time. I said, aren't you afraid people will say you betrayed your friend for your wife? He put his arm around me. No one can bully my wife in front of me. So, for a brother, he'd take a bullet. For a woman, he'd shoot his brother. 3 months later, Jason returned to the company. Caleb was moody for days. I thought it was Jason, but it turned out Jason had HR hire Vivian as his secretary. Did Vivian put a curse on him? Caleb scoffed. Jason's brain got kicked by a donkey. He even begged me in my office. I told him to go home. Now he's threatening me over a woman. He sighed. Vivian is Jason's secretary now. I patted his shoulder. That's fine. Let them be together. Caleb shook his head. I knew he was worried about me, but I thought it was better to have Vivian close, easier to catch her mistakes. I hadn't pressed charges because I didn't want to make things hard for Caleb, but the grudge between us wasn't easily settled. Jason was a long-time employee. Caleb felt bad and also worried about other employees' morale. Only when Jason made a clear mistake could we make them both disappear from my sight. The next time I saw Jason and Vivian was at Caleb's company. He called saying he'd left a document at home. His driver would get it. I had nothing else to do, so I drove it over myself. I also packed a homemade lunch. Terrible presentation, but I wasn't the one eating it. Of course, enemies cross paths. When I took the elevator, only Vivian and I were inside. Sophia, long time no see. I nodded and ignored her. It bothers you that I work here, doesn't it? Why would it? Jason pays your salary from his own pocket. We work together. You stay home. You need his permission just to visit. I wanted to crack open her head and see if it was filled with packing peanuts. If I told HR to fire you today, do you think Jason could stop it? The elevator doors opened. I gestured outside. Go wherever you need to go. She glared and stormed out. I sighed. Some people are just naturally stupid. I gave Caleb the document and told him what happened. His expression was complicated. Was Vivian born without a brain? I changed the subject. What's this document for? New project. Whether we profit this year depends on it. He tried to explain the business, but I cut him off. You explaining this is like me asking you to guess my lipstick shade. Let's spare each other. I opened the lunchbox. He praised it extravagantly and said, You staying out of the kitchen is the kitchen's greatest blessing. See this eggplant? It grew all summer, hoping to become something, not a pile of black charcoal. Great, you cook from now on, as if I don't already. The next few days, Caleb was busy. He personally led the team on the new project. The day before the bid, he asked me to bring another document, urgently, straight to the meeting room. On my way out, I ran into Jason holding coffee. Sophia bringing something for Caleb. Yes. I nodded and walked past. That night, Caleb came home with a rare scowl. He doesn't usually bring work frustrations home. What's wrong? Problems with the project? He handed me soup. No. I just hope you never have to use the document you brought today. It was fake, a decoy for someone to see. The someone was obviously his good brother Jason. He smiled bitterly. Jason's been talking to a competitor. I had to be careful. If this project fails, I'll be broke. I patted his shoulder. If you go broke, I have some savings. I'm not a gold digger. Fine. I'll keep my money for myself. He finally smiled. My money is all yours. The next morning, Caleb left early. The bid was at 10 a.m. At 10:15, I got a call from an unknown number. Sophia, soon your husband will lose everything. It was Vivian. I started recording. Want me to live stream how Caleb goes bankrupt? You humiliated me. Now I'll make you pay 100 times. This time, I'll take back everything that's mine. What have you and Jason been learning? TikTok cosplay? Do you need a voiceover? If you don't need your brain, donate it. I hung up. Living with Caleb had made me sharper with insults. At 1 p.m., Caleb called. Babe, keep your savings. Everything went smoothly. I'll make more money for you. I sent Caleb the recording. He didn't reply until late at night. The decoy documents were replaced with blank papers. I didn't know how to comfort him, so I poured him warm water. What will you do? I've called the police. He sighed. Jason didn't do it himself. He had Vivian swap the documents. Cameras caught everything. They'll be stripped bare. He said Vivian was already in custody. Jason would follow. Jason had been taking kickbacks for a while. Now, it all came out. After dinner, Jason called Caleb. The decoy was to trap me, wasn't it? If you hadn't wanted to hurt me, I wouldn't have needed to use the documents. Jason, I knew about the kickbacks. You think I didn't? Jason's voice shook. You knew? And you watched me go down the wrong path? You've changed since you got married. You don't see me as a brother anymore. Did you see me as a brother? I gave you so many chances. You set me up. You're worse than a stray dog. If it weren't against the law, I'd knock your front teeth so far apart they'd look like double doors. Caleb hung up and sat in silence for a long time. Jason was right. I waited for him to destroy himself. He knows too much about the company. He couldn't go anywhere else. This was inevitable. Don't blame yourself. I'm not blaming myself. I'm just saying, my schemes are better. Good. He's fine. The company sued Jason, Vivian confessed quickly. He'd likely spend his life in debt. Jason faced charges for unfair competition and bribery. Police went to his home. Caleb went to the office. I went grocery shopping. As I left the supermarket, I heard footsteps. Before I could turn, something hit the back of my head. In my peripheral vision, I saw Jason's twisted face. When I woke up, everything was dark. My head throbbed. I saw Jason standing over me. You lost to Caleb. Why target me? He was pouring gasoline. The smell was sharp. Sophia, if I can't be happy, neither can you. I'd already sent a distress signal to Caleb. I just had to stall. Caleb made you leave the company. Why blame me? Without you, he wouldn't have changed. Vivian was useless. I spent so long on her and she did nothing useful. Why did he have to get married? We were fine running the company together. You betrayed him first. He never held the kickbacks against you, but you wanted him bankrupt. He shouted, "Shut up!" If he lost everything, I could rebuild with him. What can a woman do? He sneered. Vivian threatened to join his company. I thought you'd fight with him, but you're calm. No wonder he's obsessed with you. Today, you die. Without you, we'll be brothers again. He looked for a lighter. Just let me die with answers. Vivian was your doing from the start, right? Don't stall. There's no signal here. You're dead. If I die, you won't live either. You'll be caught. He continued setting up the scene. I couldn't free my ropes. Then, bang, the door flew open. Blinding sunlight flooded in. My husband had arrived. Caleb saw Jason with a lighter and gasoline. He roared and kicked Jason half a meter away. Gasoline spilled everywhere. Caleb, don't call me brother. Caleb kicked him again, then untied me. It's okay, babe. We're leaving. Police took Jason away. He struggled, face red, eyes wild, reaching for the lighter. Caleb ignored him and carried me to the hospital. At the hospital, after tests, the doctor looked serious. Caleb and I were terrified. Do I have brain damage? I whispered. If I do, I'm breaking Caleb's legs. The doctor said, You're pregnant. What? We stared in shock. I was pregnant. On the drive home, Caleb was expressionless, but I noticed he was walking strangely. His left arm and left leg were moving together. Once inside, he suddenly hugged me, his head on my shoulder, trembling. I'm sorry, babe. His voice cracked. You're pregnant and you went through this. I should have kicked Jason more. I put my hand on his. My scared heart finally calmed. Caleb kept his word. Jason and Vivian both went to prison. Jason for longer. When his sentence came down, my belly was already showing. Jason wanted to see Caleb one last time. Caleb refused. During my pregnancy, Caleb was more cautious than me. He researched everything, wishing he could carry the baby himself. On delivery day, he ran alongside the stretcher. My mother-in-law and my mom couldn't keep up. Before entering, I heard a nurse say, "Family member, please remain calm." When I opened my eyes, he was crouched by my bed, eyes red. What do you want to eat, babe? I shook my head weakly. Where's the baby? Boy or girl? His face went blank. Then he shot up. I forgot to check the baby. At the door, my mother-in-law was laughing. I've been waiting an hour for him to remember. My mom brought the baby in, see? Eyebrows like you, nose like Caleb. Caleb peeked at the baby, frowned, and after a long hesitation, said, "Why does he look like a tiny Mr. Bean? I couldn't take it anymore. Shut up. If there's a God, give me 2 doses of mute medicine. One might not be enough." The end. Subscribe for more drama. Up next, they rewrote his memories. He broke them for me.